What's some of the work that you put in to become whole? Did you seek out different therapists or anything that way? Is it more like because you went and got your master's degree in psychology that all of the classes you took, you kind of related back to Keaton's death and how you're trying to work through all this stuff? Like what things did you actually do?
Yeah, I think everything plays a part, a role. The threads weave through into the fabric of what my experience of healing and wholeness is.
Yeah.
What I learned in psychology certainly did. I had some good counseling that helped me work with that and learn how to hold my experience, those types of things. There's some key principles that one is differentiation. That's I am an individual separate from others and learning to own my experience and not manage other people's experience, release them to theirs. Those are some key parts of it. There's a particular type of therapy or modality called somatic experiencing that I embraced personally and then use in working with people.
And did you learn that in school? Did you learn it after school?
Yeah, I learned that parts of it during and then pursued a lot of education and training after school. But it's about being at one with your body and what it's experiencing and being able to let whatever's coming up, pain, the anxiety, the pits, the heaviness, whatever comes up, being able to hold that and experience it. So,
if people wanted to learn more about that, say it again. I didn't even know what it was.
Somatic experiencing.
Yeah. If they want to learn more about that, what's like a good resource that they could learn more about that?
So Peter Levine, he pioneered this work over 40 plus years.
Okay.
He's written a number of books. One of the ones that I like is In an Unspoken Voice.
Okay.
But he's got a number of them out there. So there's those books. There's also a website with Ergos Institute that people can find a somatic practitioner.
Oh, wow.
That they can use. And I think it's one of the most powerful tools. There are a lot of them in psychology, EMDR, ART. There are a lot of different ways that we can use to process, and they're good. The somatic experiencing is, I think, one of the better tools that we have available to us now. So I'd recommend that to anybody.
And when did you start seeking that out for your personal...
The somatic work?
Yeah.
3 to 4 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah. Started working with that.
Yeah. And did you see benefits from it like right away? Did it take a decent amount of work to get it? What?
Well, both. Okay. It's very simple and powerful right away. And it's also then a lifetime tool that a person can use beyond just the grief and mourning process. That's one of the things I like about it. It's not just a recovery tool. It's a way to experience all the things that come up in life.
Did you have somebody, like a practitioner, help you originally, like to kind of understand it and how it works and to know the different tools? Or did you kind of just learn about it on your own by reading books and stuff like that?
Yeah. So through some of my program, I became aware of it, and then I did my own study into it, reading and that. And then I went and had the training through the actual training through Peter Levine's courses.
Oh, okay. Wow.
So, and then follow-up conferences, trauma conferences, things like that.
How has Keaton's death impacted any of your relationships you had, like relationship as a husband, father, and friend? How has it impacted since Keaton's death about 10, 11 years ago?
That's a good question. I think the things that we've talked about of how to relate with self, which is really part of that work, right? With how to hold your own experience and feel it and relate to yourself in the midst of pain and grief. What does this mean about me to me? We relate to ourselves and our experiences. So I think that's been impacted quite a bit. And then that translates into relating to other people differently. So I've got a really beautiful little story. It's one of my favorite memories of Keaton.
Yeah.
He's, 18 months old, 2 years old. And he's sitting on the kitchen counter and I'm doing my thing there. And he's, like they do, they just chatter away. He's just chattering away. And I'm doing my thing. And all of a sudden I realized he stopped talking. And so I looked up and he was looking at me, just looking at me. And I could read the question in his eyes more powerfully than if he would have spoken it. And in his eyes, he was saying, "Are you listening to me? Are you hearing me?" And it's just, my whole system was like, "Oh yeah." And I just got down on his level and said, "Yeah, buddy. Oh yeah, that's so cool." And I just spent a few moments there. And that taught me a great deal. He was my teacher at 2 years old. That what we all want more than anything is to be seen, to be heard, to be considered, to be known. And he just wanted to know if I was listening, really there. Now, as parents, we can't walk around and stare in our kids' eyes all day, right? We've got things to do. But what it taught me, and this was a part of our relationship, what it taught me was that we can just take moments. We can get down at their level, or with a spouse, or with a friend. And we can say, "Yeah, I hear you. I see you." That's been one of the most powerful things that have influenced relationships that I've had going forward. I mean, that was a real key foundational piece of the relationship I had with Keaton. So from that moment on, I made sure that I just had those little moments. And he knew, and so we had a relationship that was built on, he knew that I was there for him. He knew that I was attuned to him, that I would listen to him. There's another one too, back to the hawks piece. So we had big glass windows on our back, and there were trees out in the back, and every now and then a bird would hit the window, and sometimes they'd bounce off and fly away, and other times they would die, and I'd find them on the deck. And just about a week and a half before Keaton died, I went out on the back deck, and there was a hawk there.
Wow.
It was the only time that a hawk had gone there. And I went out to pick it up and dispose of it like usual. And I just had this thought, no, go get Keaton. And so I went and got him and brought him out there. And we just sat there, and we touched the hawk's feathers and his claws and his beak. And we just talked about life and death a little bit. And after he died, I realized that was something to indicate that the hawk has fallen.
The story doesn't end here. This is just a small segment of the entire podcast. If you want to check out that full podcast, tap or click the screen here. YouTube also thinks you might like this video. Remember, subscribe, shine bright, and we'll see you in the next video.